Hello, friends. This is Mike from Right Minded and Level Prep with a very special episode of Mike Tries. Today I'm going to take the GRE. I have a student who I worked with on SAT stuff who wants to take the GRE, and I've never taken it before in my whole life, and I might work with her on it. And so I thought it would be interesting to just run into the test completely cold, knowing very little about it, and just see how well I can do. I think it should be a good, like, oh, I don't know, it would just be like an interesting chance to see again, like kind of like with the digital SAT, the what the beginning of the learning process sort of looks like. If you're eventually trying to get a perfect score. Right. So this is me. I'm going to take the whole practice test number one, like the official practice test that the GRE people put out. I'm going to take the first one of those, the free ones. Okay. So as always, before I'm going to take the test, this is just a snapshot of my mental state. Um, I don't know if anybody cares about this, but last time I took the test, it was the SAT, and it was the second practice test I took, and I was just in like a really terrible shape, and I did badly. And that experience helped me realize that I need to care more about my sleep and how I treat my body and my mental health, especially if I want to do well on these tests. So, since then, it's been like a month or maybe a little bit more since then. Today's January 26th, and I have been doing dry January, like the thing where people don't drink in January. I don't really drink that much normally, but had any I haven't done any drinking. I haven't had any caffeine at all. Like I'm full on middle schooler status in terms of what I've been putting into my body this month. And I've just been like fully focusing on like sleeping a lot and just exercising and stuff. Um, so we're gonna see how that goes. I mean, I think that's a good thing. I've been feeling better, much to my chagrin. The whole like stopping putting poison in your body feels good, and that begrudgingly is I accept that. Anyway, overall though, I still think I'm not in that great shape today. 7 out of 10, like pretty good. But the main reason is that I'm underslept. The last 2 nights I have not slept well. I got 6 hours of sleep last night, and then I took an hour long nap like this morning to try to like get more sleep in advance of this test. But I'm underslept. That's the big thing that's going on. The other big thing is that I had a headache. I've had a headache all day, and I don't know what the hell that's about. But otherwise, everything is just like all green lights across the board. Like I've been eating healthy. I haven't put anything in my body other than like ibuprofen in a long time. Mm. In terms of my activation, this is like how nervous or lethargic I am. I'm stoked. I think I'm at a good level of activation, mostly because I'm excited that this is like a new test experience and that there's like it's totally okay if I don't do well. Every time I take a practice SAT, it's like I better get a perfect score. But here it's fine. I can do however well or poorly I want. Um, yeah, as far as emotion goes, I'm happy. I'm not always happy. Last time I took the test, I was talking about how I was coming out of a depressive episode. That has an impact. I haven't been depressed recently, knock on wood. It's good stuff. Right, and then going into this test, usually you make hypotheses. Oh, this time I'm going to do better on this, or I'm going to pay more attention to the timing here, blah, blah, blah. But this is my first round. I have no idea what to expect. The only things that I know about the test are that, like the basic structure, I'm going to skip the essay. I'm not going to do the essay. Um, or either of the two essays. But I'm going to do it's these two modules that are skill adaptive for verbal or like English type stuff. Those are 30 minutes each, and they have 20 questions. That's a minute and a half per question. Um, and then there's going to be same math type stuff. Two modules, 30 minutes each, 20 questions, and the first module like the difficulty of the second module is based on how well you do on the first. This is just, it mirrors the digital SAT actually, or rather, it's the other way around. The digital SAT mirrors this. But that's kind of all I know. I don't really know anything about the content other than that I've heard that it's kind of similar to the SAT. I imagine it's harder because it's for grad school instead of college kids. So, we'll see. Right. Okay. So without further ado, I'm just going to get started here. This is the tool. It's browser based, which is kind of surprising to me. But here we go. So I'm just going to launch the test. Okay. So, all right. Great. Let's try that again. Practice test one. Go to the practice test. Let's take this test. An inauspicious start. Work. Yeah. Okay, cool. Good. Let's continue. Yeah, so these are the navigation instructions. I did the like test preview to get a feel for the UI and like, like the on-screen calculator and stuff. Um, right. Copyright information, sure. This is a practice test. Yeah, sure. Blah 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 blah. 10-minute break following section 3. That's after the first reading section. 10-minute break. I'm probably not going to take any of the breaks. I might take these. What is it? It says like a 2-second. You may pause for 60 seconds if you choose. I might pause to choose for 60 seconds. Or choose to pause for 60 seconds. Oh God, I'm underslept and I'm going to make mistakes. Okay. So the analytic writing section, this I'm not going to do, but you have to write an essay. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, so screw that. Should I read this? Yeah, I'm going to read it. A nation should require all of its students to study the same national curriculum until they enter college. Write a response in which you discuss the sense. Oh, so this is just like a opinion essay. I'm going to write a 5-paragraph essay about why I think we shouldn't all have to study the same national curriculum until they enter college. Describe specific circumstances in which adopting the recommendation would or would not be advantageous and explain how these examples shape. Okay, that's a little more specific than just like write an essay about the topic. All right, so that's like, whatever. This is the following is a memorandum from the business manager of a television station. For the past year, our late night news program has devoted increased time to national news and less time to weather and local news. During this time period, most of the complaints received from viewers were concerned with our station's coverage of weather and local news. In addition, local businesses that used to advertise during our late night news program, have just canceled their advertising contracts with us. Therefore, in order to attract more viewers to the program and to avoid losing any dude, I'm like misreading a lot of words, and that's troubling. To avoid losing any further advertising revenues, we should restore the time devoted to weather and local news to its former level. Yeah, okay. What specific evidence is needed to evaluate the argument and explain how the evidence would weaken or strengthen? Yeah, that's interesting. This is making a bunch of assumptions. Maybe like why did the local businesses pull their advertising? Is it related to the weather and local news? Maybe it's different stuff. Yeah. All right. Interesting. But not interesting enough to write a whole essay about. Screw that. Right. So we're going to take a 60-second pause. Screw the pause. Here we go. Has time started? No. For each question, indicate the best answer using the directions given. If you need more detailed directions, select help. Right. That's literally the same screen. Yeah, okay. If question has the correct answer consists of a single choice, if the question has answer choices of square boxes, then the correct answer consists of one or more answer choices. That's interesting. Okay. Read the directions for each question carefully. It'll tell you whether you should select one or more. You might need to scroll around. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Time hasn't started, right? No. Time starts now. Right, okay. Dramatic literature often does stuff to the history of the culture in that it takes as a subject matter the important events that have shaped and guided culture. Reflects, confounds, anticipates, recapitulates. Dramatic literature often repudiates, confounds, anticipates, yeah. All right. Yeah, like, I mean, reflects is kind of what you want. Fill in the blank. Mm-hmm. False, facetious, critical, insincere, candid, trustworthy. She refused to consider the possibilities. The statement had been irrelevant. This is wrong. Like he wasn't just mistaken. He's like, she refused to think he was lying. Facetious. Like, facetious is joking. Fill in the blanks in the way that best applies to text. Given how the obvious shortcomings of the standard economic model are in its portrayal of human behavior, the failure of many economists, how many there are. Yeah, given how many, like how big a deal the shortcomings of the standard economic model and its portrayal of human behavior, the failure of many economists to respond to them is astonishing. Yeah, there are a lot, and so they should be responded to. They continue to fill the journals with yet more proofs of yet more stupid theorems. Others, by contrast, accept the criticisms as a challenge, seeking to expand the basic model to embrace a wider range of things people do. So these autonomous economists are just filling the journals with bullshit. Improbable. Yes. Patent. Occasional over. Yes. That's kind of subtle. Okay, there's been much hand-wringing about how unprepared American students are from college. Graph reverses this perspective, suggesting colleges are unprepared students. In its analysis, university culture is largely failing entering students because academic culture fails to make connections to the kind of arguments and cultural references students got. Opaque to, so not primed for and not essential for. It's like bad because it's doing this bad thing. Understandably, many students view academic life as like a boring, painstaking, laudable is wrong, an arcane ritual maybe is not negative enough. The kinds of arguments, understandably, many students view academic life, academic culture fails to make, people don't give it. It's too removed from current culture, so it's just a painstaking ritual. It's just a chore. Yeah, I mean that's probably right. Okay. The narratives that vanquish three fools. There's several identifiable types. In one of these, the vanquished manage to the victor's triumph as a result of some spurious advantage. The victors being truly inferior where it counts. The narratives that vanquished peoples have created of their defeat. Oh, I see. Manage to construe the victor's triumph as a result of some spurious advantage. The victors being truly inferior where it counts. Paint. Yeah. I know I acknowledge that. Often the winners, something this interpretation. The winners, something this interpretation, worrying about the cultural or moral cost of their triumph, and so giving some credence to the loser's story. Often the winners are like, yeah, maybe that's true, which helps, giving some credence to the loser's story. They don't disregard it, that wouldn't help them. They don't take issue with it, giving them credence, they collude in it. Yeah, both of these are interesting. All right, so that's a quarter of the way through. So I should be 7.5. I'm way ahead on time. Okay. The question of blah in photography has lately become non-trivial. Prices for vintage prints, forgery, maybe, soon after he or she made the negative, so drastically ballooned in the 1990s that one of these photographs might fetch 100 times as much as a non-vintage print of the same image. It was perhaps only a matter of time before someone took advantage of the fact that it's hard to tell to peddle newly created quote-unquote vintage prints for profit. The discrepancy. Yeah, so it's forgery for sure. The discrepancy in prices to peddle newly created fake ones. Yeah, they don't say the ambiguity. They don't say what the ambiguity is. I mean, it would be the ambiguity in which one is which, but they don't say that. Man, all of these are. This is hard. This is hard. Okay. A weekend question. Hmm. Cool. That's a weekend question from the LSAT. Right. Even after numerous products made with artificial sweeteners and coloring, sugar consumption per capita continued to rise. Manufacturers introducing fat-free versions of various foods that they claim have the taste and texture of traditional high-fat versions. Even if the manufacturer's claim is true, given that the availability of sugar-free foods did not reduce sugar consumption, it's unlikely the availability of fat-free foods will reduce fat consumption. Well, maybe the fat-free foods are more like the several kinds of fat-free foods. Mm. Hmm. Yeah, maybe the fake sugar ones are bad. Yeah, they have the taste and texture. These ones do have the taste and texture. The other ones don't. Oh shit! Were any of these box questions? No, no. Okay, none of these so far have been box questions. Like more than one answer is right. Here, this is one answer. Yeah. Okay. Okay. The foods brought out in sugar-free versions did not generally have reduced levels of fat, but many of the fat-free versions are. Yeah. People who regularly consume not all foods containing fat can be produced with it. Yeah. The products didn't they the sugar ones didn't taste like they didn't taste good, and that's why they didn't work. But maybe these ones work. Yeah, that's good. Oh my god, what? Ugh. According to the passage, which of the following is am I gonna get more than one answer? Yes. Oh, questions 8 to 11 are based on this passage. All right. So I'm gonna read this carefully. Can I highlight it? No. All right. So it's like more sandstone, less sandstone in a cycle. Ocean water circulation, yeah. Therefore, an Earth's climate. Oh, yeah. Where was this guy based? The North Atlantic deep waters. Yeah, okay. So they're getting further down into the Atlantic before they melt. Cold water, warm water, no icebergs. Cold water, lots of icebergs, lots of sediment. Hmm, okay. rock fragments. They must have reached their present locations by traveling in large icebergs that floated long distances from their point of origin before melting. Rock segment, yeah. They were carried by icebergs. They must have reached their present locations by traveling in large icebergs. Okay, I shouldn't have think that. Yeah, okay. Not a flaw. A new focus for the study of ocean sediments. No, it's the possible implications. Not that. Not that. Not that. Formation of more. No, not that. Cold surface waters. Yeah, because of this. During this period, surface waters in the North Atlantic would generally be colder, permitting icebergs bearing red-stained grains to travel farther south in North Atlantic before melting. Red-stained sediment grains to reach more southerly latitudes. Right, great. So that's the halfway point, and I'm 3 minutes ahead of schedule. Okay. It can be inferred that from the passage that in sediment cores from the North Atlantic deep waters, the portions that correspond to the Little Ice Age cold changed in this way. This is the further south one. No, it doesn't. They should differ. Fluctuate significantly in composition between the portions. No, would be likely to contain a proportion of, yeah, more sediment rather than less. Yeah, more sediment because the rocks go further south. Show a much higher proportion of red stained grains in cores extracted from the far north than in cores extracted from the far south. Much higher is too strong. Yeah, that's interesting. Or formed in part as a result of the Gulf Stream waters having been pulled. No, this is the opposite. Red stained grains in cores extracted from the far north. No. I mean, man, that one could be true, but so two answer choices. Hey, that when used to complete the sentence fit the meaning of the sentence as a whole and produce completed sentences that are alike in meaning. Early critics of Emily Dickinson's poetry mistook for simple-mindedness the surface of artlessness that in fact she constructed with such cunning and craft. She like was good at it. She wasn't innocent, naive, vexed, astonished. Yeah, no, okay. Easy. Same type. Macromolecule RNA is common to all living beings, and DNA, which is found in all organisms except some bacteria, is almost as common. RNA is common to all living beings. DNA is almost as universal, ubiquitous, as comprehensive, fundamental, inclusive, significant. Yeah. As universal is interesting. It's almost as universal as this. I mean, shouldn't it just be universal or not? That's probably overthinking it. Well, in many ways, their personalities could not have been more different. Is this the same thing? Yeah. She was ebullient, where he was glum. Relaxed. She was relaxed, where he was awkward. She was garrulous, where he was. Oh God. They're surprisingly well suited. Oh Jesus. I don't know these words. Laconic, fastidious. I don't know the word garrulous. Relaxed where he was awkward. Garrulous where he was taciturn and laconic. Fastidious is neat. Irresolute is probably not right. That's like wishy-washy. I don't know what munificent means. Solicitous is like a good listener and like a giver. I have no idea what laconic means. Taciturn means shy. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, shit. I very seldom don't know words. Okay. Even in this business where this two answer choices, where this is part of everyday life, a talent for lying is not something usually found on one's resume. Pre-verification, mendacity. It's not aspiration. Well, these are hard vocab words. Instant is not, it's not this, it's not that. It might be baseness, and because I don't know what pre-verification, I don't know what these two mean, so it might be one of these two. So okay, so the question is, do I think baseness is right or wrong? Because if I think it's wrong, it's one of these two. Talent for lying is not usually found on one's resume. Where baseness is part of everyday life. Baseness is like crude. I think it's not baseness. I think it's mendacity. Or is it pre-verification? I'm gonna say it's mendacity. Who the fuck knows? I'm not even gonna mark that. Select a sentence that provides support for an answer to a question in the passage. Interesting. I mean, probably this, but okay. Support for an answer to a question in the passage. Historians frequently employ provet inventories, lists of possessions compiled after a person's death, and living. Let's compare them to archaeological records. Study records from the state. People don't list earthenware, but there's a lot of earthenware around. So here's the question, here's the answer, here's the support. This sentence provides support for the answer to the question. Classical conception of free will. Classical conception. Okay. Subjective will to move, actual movement, objective electro EEG activity called readiness potential. As expected, will to move preceded actual movement. They're like, I think I want to move. Subjects consciously perceive the intention to move as preceding a conscious experience of actually moving. This might seem to suggest an appropriate correspondence between the sequence of subjective experience as the sequence of underlying. Yeah, it's like I want to move and then I move. But researchers actually found a surprising temporal relation between subjective experience and objectively measured neural events. In direct contradiction of the classical conception of free will, neural preparation to move preceded conscious awareness of the intention to move by hundreds of milliseconds. We think that it's the intention followed by the neural preparation followed by the movement. That's what we want. We want the will followed by the thing, and this is the classical. But instead, what we got is it's like our brain started moving, and then we thought that it was time that we wanted to move, and then we moved. We want the will to come first. That's the classical, and all of these. Yeah, none of these. Yeah, right. Okay. Temporal most merely means. Man, do I have to? Oh, surprising. Time based, chronological. Yeah, researchers actually found a surprising chronological relation between numerical, mundane, second. Yeah, no, no, no. Understand, like to describe why it's surprising. Oh, so there's a possible flaw in the reasoning of neuroscientists conducting the study. No. Provide a possible explanation for the unexpected results explained by neuroscientists. Cuts doubt on their conclusions. No. Regarding temporal sequence. No. Indicate the reasons why the results of the neuroscience studies were surprising. Yeah. Uh, but researchers actually found a surprising thing in direct contradiction of the thing we were surprised that it was different. Indicate the reason that the results of the neuroscientist study were surprising. They were surprising because of the classical conception of free will, which was different. Great. The two highlighted portions play which of the following roles? That's interesting. It's like a double role question. The LSAT has something like this, but never two in a row. Or like never two in the same question. Okay, rain-soaked soil. Fuck, I'm tired. Okay. Rain-soaked soil contains less oxygen than this drier soil. Okay. The roots of melon plants perform less efficiently under the low oxygen conditions present in rain-soaked soil. The roots of melon plants don't do as well in rain-soaked soil. That's so far it's a premise. When the efficiency, it seems like it, when the efficiency of melon roots is impaired, the roots do not supply sufficient amounts of the proper nutrients for the plants to perform photosynthesis at their usual levels. That's another premise. It follows that melon plants have a lower than usual rate of photosynthesis when their roots are in rain-soaked soil. That's the conclusion. When the photosynthesis of the plants slows, sugar stored in the fruits is drawn off to supply the plants with energy. Therefore, ripe melons harvested after a prolonged period of heavy rain should be less sweet than overripe melons. So this is a premise, and this is an intermediate conclusion. The first states the conclusion, no. The first provides support for the conclusion of the argument as a whole, no. The second provides evidence that supports an objection, no. The first provides support for an intermediate conclusion, yes. That supports a further conclusion stated in the argument, yes. The second states that intermediate conclusion, that's right. The first serves as an intermediate conclusion, no. The first states the position that the argument as a whole opposes, no. Okay, great. You've reached the end of the section. You'll have, as long as there's time remaining, you can check your work. Once you leave the section, you won't be able to return to it. Okay, let's review. Okay, 6 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think those are right. I think all of those are right. Answering a question about the Earth's. Five minutes remaining. Okay. Oh, my thing is. Okay. Putting on a flaw. It's not. would place the midpoint. No, it's implications. Yeah, okay. So that was question 9. That's these four. And then it's just 11, 13, 14. And these are the vocab ones. No. Oh, the portions that correspond to the little ice, the sediment cores from the North Atlantic's deep waters. So I wanted maybe this one. That's stupid though. I don't know. That's stupid to want that. And also they shouldn't. It's yeah, no. It's not that there's more further north necessarily. There might be more in the south, but we don't know either way. I was thinking like, oh, they're melting along the way, and so there should be a bunch up north. But maybe that's not true. They're maybe not melting along the way. Maybe they're staying solid up until they get to the south. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Higher, higher proportions. Yeah, that's right. So, all right. Universal ubiquitous. I marked that, but that's not. I mean, I know these words. Comprehensive, fundamental, inclusive, significant. Yeah, no, those are all wrong. Okay. All right. While in many ways their personalities could not have been more different. She was ebullient. That's like, oh shit. Okay. Where he was glum. Glum is taciturn. Relaxed, where he was awkward. Garrulous, where he was fastidious. Munificent. They were surprisingly well suited. Okay. She was ebullient, where he was like taciturn would be a good match for glum. So I think that might not be right. She was relaxed, where he was awkward. I don't know if any of these really mean awkward. So I don't know if we can get rid of any of those for that reason. And then garrulous, I don't know what word garrulous means. Can you get a dictionary on this test? I think not. So she was like outgoing, relaxed, and untidy. Fastidious means, well organized and neat. And garrulous is like kind of all over the place and not neat. So he was fastidious. And laconic is like, I don't know what laconic means. Munificent. Yeah, I mean, probably that's wrong. A minute and a half, we might come back to it. Even in this business where lying for gain is part of everyday life, the talent for lying is not usually some one found on one's resume. Avarice for sure. Insensitivity is too weak. Aspiration is wrong. So it's mendacity, pre-verification, and baseness. Base is like crude. Base is like a dirty joke. Base desires, are like it's a different kind of immoral. Mendacity. I kind of like that. I kind of like mendacity. All right. He was neat. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Okay. That was an interesting. That was fun. It was hard. The vocab is hard. I don't know how you study for that. I mean, there's got to be GRE vocab books because I mean these are just straight out vocab words. I bet it's difficult to study for, and usually, like on the SAT, it's like not cool to just test vocab. Um, oh, can I take a break right now? Oh, Jesus. 60-second pause. Yeah. Yeah, usually, like on the SAT, it's like considered uncool to test vocab. Uh, but these guys think it's totally fine to test vocab. You're about to be a grad student. You know, you're gonna get in a lot of douchey conversations. You got to know what laconic means. You know, otherwise you're gonna be embarrassed. Um, I wonder if this is gonna automatically advance. This test will automatically continue when the pause time expires. Let's see if that actually happens. I'm having a good time. This is fun. Hopefully I did well enough that the next module is the hard one. Uh, in which case I need to think about being faster. I ended with like 5 minutes extra. Okay. Oh, good. Um, oh, has time started? What? Mathematics? Math. 35 minutes. Okay. That's different from what I thought. Give the best answer. Same thing with ovals and squares. On-screen calculator. Yeah, I read these ones before. Shit's not to scale unless it's in like a graph or a chart. Numbers are real numbers. Okay. 35 minutes. Here we go. O is the center of the circle, and these are 2 points on the circle, and this is 60 degrees. These are 2 points on the circle. These two sides are equal. Side angle side. Maybe the two sides are equal. No matter what, the triangle is going to be equilateral. So the perimeter is 6, so it's 2, 2, 2. Ah, there we go. Perimeter of ROS is 6, so this is 2, 2, 2. The circumference of the circle, or 12. Well, they're not going to be equal. The circumference of the circle is 2 pi r, so it's 4 pi. That's 4 times 3.14, so that's like 12 plus. So the circumference of the circle is greater than 12. Fun and hard. Okay. That was question 1. Oh no. Certain recipe requires 3/2 of a cup of sugar. I don't like this. It's a little rough. Then makes 2 dozen cookies. The amount of sugar required to make this for the same as 30 to 2 cups. Okay, so we just 3.5 cups for 24 cookies. Come on, 1.5 cups. 30 is 2x. 30 times 1.5, 45, divided by 24. Let's just, okay, 30 times 1.5 is 45, right? Divided by 24. 1.875 cups. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's less than 2 cups required for the same recipe to make 30 cookies. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is different math than the SAT. It just happened to be like a little like a smart dude instead of the area of the rectangular region, which that's 24, or this area. Oh fuck. Uh, 4, 5, 7. All right, this is a triangle. It's a right triangle. 4, 2. This is 7, 4, 5. This is 20. This isn't 7. This is 5 and 2. 5 and 2. 1/2 base times height. Base to height. 8. This is 4. The region is 4, 24. 24, 24. The two quantities are equal. All right, am I being stupid? 20. 1/2 base times height. 2 times 4 is fucking 8 divided by 2 is 4. 20 plus 4. Yeah, no, that's right. All right, cool. The area of this, the area of that, they're the same. Yeah, all right, cool. Big brain shit. Here we go. All right, quantity A is greater, quantity B is greater. What are we talking about? PS, SR. These are the same. These are the same. Hmm. Hmm. What does it look like if it's like really long, like that? You know? And then we're gonna bisect this, which is like, yeah, like there, and this is X and this is Y. No. So they don't have to be related to each other at all. PS, SR. Yeah, I mean, is that fine? Yeah, okay. And it could be way smaller too. You can move it around. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. X is between 6 and 7. Y is 8. Quantity A, X over Y. Okay, well, 7 over 8 is 0.875. Well, okay. And then 6 over 8 is 0.75, I think, right? 6 over 8 is 0.75. So it could be anywhere in this range. Um, part of the range is more than B, and part of the range is fucking less than B. So it's not always greater. It's not always smaller. They're not necessarily equal. You can't tell for sure. Cool. That's a quarter of the way through and 35 minutes. Oh, so that's 26:15. I'm like 2 minutes ahead-ish. But these are probably going to get harder. So the average of 100 measurements is 23. The average of 50 additional measurements is 27. The average of all of them are 25. It's going to be less than 25. There's a bunch more, so it'll be more 23-ish than it is 27-ish, which means the average, that 25 is a bigger number than the average of all of them. Yes. Good. Great. Huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Interesting. Okay. Range is 4. 1 root 2 x and x squared. So you want to say, oh, it's 2 and 4, and x is 2. But maybe it's not maybe x is 4. Maybe x is -3. Oh, consists of the numbers 1, this, x, and this, where x is greater than 0. All right, then x squared, and the range of numbers in the list is 4. So x squared is 4, x is either 2 or -2. Okay, and if x is 4, then, yeah, okay. I mean, all right, this seems like an interesting one to keep screwing with. But it seems like x has to be 2. No, 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 no. The range in the list is 4. This is 5. No. Well, x squared is 5. X is the square root of 5. It's not 2. It's a little bigger than 2. X is a little bigger than 2. Because the range is 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Okay. X squared plus kx minus 6 equals 0. X minus 3, x, this is minus 3 plus 2. It has to be. Minus 3 plus 2. That's how you get, one of the roots is 3. K is a constant. Okay, right. So, come on. Minus 3x plus 2x equals -1. K is -1. That's what K is. So K is -1. That one might be a good one to do a sanity check too. Ooh, I wonder if I'm gonna get like totally destroyed on this math. I mean, like my math is not good. It's just like only SAT. If x and y are the tens digit and the units digit, respectively, of the product, what is the value of x plus y? Well, right. 7, 2, 5, 2, 7, 8. Is this gonna give me a fucking error? 67066. Yeah, you douche. Oh, screw you. Okay, but it doesn't matter because okay, 7, 2, 5, 2, 7, 8, 6. You're not gonna have to do this whole thing. Oh, 6, 6. Okay, so okay, whoa, I need to be all right, 40, 48, 42, 6, 42. Oh yeah, okay. So it's 42 plus 4 is 46. 6 times 2 is 12, 16. I think I don't have to do any more, but 6 times 5 is 30, plus 1 is 31. This is 3. 6 times 2 is 12, 15. 6 times 7 is 42, 43. Right, and then we're going to go like this. And then we're going to go 6 times 8 is 48. Okay, 6 times 7 is 42 plus 4. 42 plus 4 is 46. Come on, buddy. And then we blah, 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 blah. This is 8. This is 14. And all the rest of it doesn't matter. X plus y is 12. 4 plus 8 is 12. probably almost halfway. I'm a little ahead. In the xy plane, what is the slope of this line? Okay, 3x minus 2y equals 8 minus 2y equals negative 3x plus 8. Subtracting, yes. Screw the subtraction. 2y equals 3x minus 8. Y equals 3 over 2. That's the answer. Okay. Did I fuck that up? 3x minus 2y. Put that over, and now it's negative. Make it not negative anymore. Divide by 2. Yeah, all right, that's right. And I'm a tiny bit ahead. I'm 3 full minutes ahead. Okay. If p is a negative number, which of the following must also be a negative number? Holy shit. Well, okay. Something squared is not a negative number. None of these are right. So p is a negative number. S is less than the absolute value of p. But we're squaring it anyway. So really we just need s minus p to happen. And that'll be negative. Because p is bigger than s. When they both squared, p is going to be bigger than s. S squared minus p squared. Yeah, this is fun. I don't immediately see there isn't that much overlap in question types. 12 houses on a certain city block. What is the median age in years of the 12 houses on the block? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, something. Fucking what? It doesn't matter? 8, 8, 8, 8, 10, 10, 10, 10, 11, 12, 12, and then it's there's a y somewhere and it doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then no matter where you put it, it's going to be 10. Huh. Interesting. That's wild. What is the median age in years of the 12 houses? Yeah, okay. Of the 750 participants attending a meeting of a certain association, 450 are members of the association and the rest are guests. Okay. 450 members, and then let's be clear, 300 guests. Of all the participants, half of the members, so 225 members, are less than 30, and a quarter of the guests, so that's, what is that, 300, 150, 75 guests are less than 30. If one of the participants will be randomly selected to receive a prize, what are the probability the person selected will be less than 30 years old? It's 750 total. 300 to 225 plus 75. I mean, is 300 divided by 4 is 75. Yeah, you gotta check. 450, 225, yeah, that's right. Probability the person selected will be less than 30 years old. Well, it's all of these people. 300 out of 750. So it's 30 over 75. So what? Divided by 5. I should know this. I should be able to do this. 15. So it's 6 over 15. We can divide that by 3. 2 over 5. Now, does that make sense? More than a quarter? Less than a half? Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay. A ranked first, C ranked second. Okay. Average rating, convenience, friendliness, price. Airline B, reliability. The sum of the 5 average ratings was calculated for each of the 3 airlines. The airline with the least sum was ranked first by what fraction of travel agents? So, the sum of the 5 average ratings was calculated for each of the 3 airlines. So it's 5.1 plus 5 plus 5 plus 6.5 plus 7. Nope. 7. Nope. Shit. 7.8. Did that do it? No. Fuck. God damn it. Okay. 5.1 plus 5 plus 5 plus 6.5. No typos. Plus 7.8. A is 29.4. B, 8 plus 5.5 plus 6.4 plus 6.9 plus 7.5. 34. I should have been able to tell at a glance that B was bigger than A, and so I should have skipped B. I should have been able to tell a glance that this was the smallest one. God damn it. 4.3 plus 5.4 plus 3.5. Oh god, plus 4.1 plus, why am I even doing this? Plus 4.9. I know that it's this one. Okay, hopefully it comes in handy later, but I bet you it won't. So, was ranked first by what fraction of the travel agents? Well, it was ranked first by these 2 and these 20. So 22 of them. None of these, not these, not these, not these. 22 out of the 100. Can I write 22 out of 100? Or do I have to write 11 out of 50? I can write 11 out of 50, I guess. 11 out of 50. The worst one, the least sum, was ranked first by 22, these 22 out of the 100. Sure. Airline B's average rating for convenience was approximately what percent greater than Airline A's average rating for convenience? Okay, 5.1 times this equals 8. Okay, 8 divided by 5.1 is 57% greater than A's. If you take A's and add 57%, you get B's. B, convenience. A, convenience. Good. Okay. If each of the ratings was the mean given by 100 travel agents, okay. Approximately how much greater was the total of the ratings given to all 3 airlines for reliability than for promptness? So reliability is, so we're just multiplying all of these by 100 because the mean is these numbers we got here by dividing these by 100. So it's 780 plus 7, no. Yes. 780 plus 750 plus 490. And then prompt reliability then for promptness is 650, 690, 410. Okay. 780 plus 750 plus 490, 2020, 650, 690, 410, 1750, 2020 minus 1750, 270. It says approximately 2020 minus 1750. Yeah, so 270, so it's 250. Okay. Sure. 10 minutes for the next 4 questions. That's okay. A developer has land that has X feet of lake frontage. The lake is to be subdivided into lots, each of which either have 80 feet or 100 feet of lake frontage. If 1 out of 9 of the lots are to have 80 feet of frontage, each of the remaining 40 lots are to have 100 feet of frontage. What's the value of X? Yeah, okay. Big brain, I'm pretty sure 5 of the lots. So it's 40 is 8/9. So 45 divided by 9 is 5. So we've got 5 80-foot lots, 40 100-foot lots. That's a thing. Okay. X feet of lake frontage. So it's just going to be the sum, probably. It's subdivided lots, each of which is either to have 100. If 1 out of 9 of the lots are to have 80 feet, 5 of the 45 have 80 feet. Each of the remaining 40 have 100 feet. What's the value of X? Well, it's 40 times 100, which is 4,000, times 5 times 80, which is 400. So it's 4,400. Okay. The diameter of a circle is 3 times, and the area of the circle is how many times the area of circle D? 9, I think. So, no, because if the diameter, let's say this diameter is 2, and this diameter is 6, this radius is 1, and this radius is 3. So it's still 3 times. The radius is 3 times bigger, the diameter is 3 times bigger. Okay, so we have 2 pi r, and then we have 2 pi 3r, and this is 6 pi r, and this is 2 pi, no. The area, pi r squared. It's 9. Pi r squared, pi 3r squared, 9 pi r squared, pi r squared, okay, 9. Two more, not bad. Last year, Kate spent between 1/4 and 1/3 of her gross income on her mortgage payments. Okay, if Kate spent 13,470 on her mortgage payments last year, which of the following could have been her gross income? Indicate all of the gross incomes. No, that's fine. So 13,470 could be times 4, so she could have made 53,880 on the high end, or she could have made 13,470 times 3. One thing is that it doesn't really seem like these questions have gotten harder over the course of the passage, or over the course of the section. 13,470, 40, 410, blah, 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 blah. No. Yes. 51, yeah, it's 53, 8, 1, 5, 3, 8, 0, 8. Yeah, that's good. 5, 3, 8, 80. 5, 3, 8, 0, 8. She could have made any of these. 40,200 is out. She made more than that. 47, all of these ones between are in. 51, yep, 53, 8, 80, come on. Yeah, that's a smaller number than this. I got this. Yeah, good job, Mike. Okay. Quantities S and T are positive and are related by the equations S equals K over T. The value of S increases by 50%, then the value of T decreases by what percent? 1.5 S equals K over T. Mm-hmm. Increases by 50, decreases by what percent? 1 over 1.5 is 0.66 T. So this is going to decrease by like 33-ish%. Okay, cool. I mean, I want to say that was easier than I anticipated. I might have aced it. This is the cocky call is that I aced this one. This gotta not be right. Okay, which one am I going to spend the most time on? I could spend this one, the two others next to it. I mean, I think that was right. So this is just literally like 78 times 66. I mean, it's like the rest of the stuff doesn't, 200 doesn't affect it. 4 plus 8 is 12. Yeah, huh, that's cool. I mean, I hope that's right, but I think that's right, and if it's so, I think that's kind of nifty. Yeah, this one. Oh, I'm kind of convinced. O is the center of the circle, and the perimeter of ROS is 6. Oh, this isn't the one I was thinking of. It's got to be equilateral because those two sides are the same. Yeah. Why did I mark that one? O is the center of the circle, the circumference of the circle. Circumference is 2 pi r, 4 pi. Yeah. 4 times pi is doing circumference is more than 12. I thought it was going to be, oh. Huh. Okay. This one. Yeah, so we just want to find x has to be greater than 0. Couldn't it be like x is 1 over x squared is, no, I don't think that works. Like x is, no, x would need to be 5. And there's no getting around that squaring 5 would screw everything up. Yeah, you could big brain it by making x negative, but you can't do that because x needs to be bigger than 0. And so x squared is 5, and x is the square root of 5, which is that's more than 2. Yeah, I very seldom end, okay, like math sections with actual extra time, but I feel like I have genuinely a minute of extra time. X squared plus kx minus 6. And here I'm just, which is what you should do too. One of the roots is 3, so it's x minus 3. That's how you get a root of 3. And then x, does it have to be x? Yeah, minus 3 times positive 2. That's how you get to negative 6. And it's minus 3x plus 2x. This equals negative 1. Yeah, I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with this. Satisfied with that. Is that it? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, usually, if you have extra time, you want to just like spend, I mean, it's 10 seconds. You want to just go through and like just redo questions, like any questions you think it's even possible that you could have gotten like made a careless error on. But yeah. Can I get a 10-minute break, please? I would love a 10-minute break. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'll be back. All right. People can hear me. Cool. Um, hmm. let's see if I have reflections. First off, for brain food, I'm gonna eat a little bit of like an energy bar thing, my kind of new favorite energy bars. Um, One disconcerting thing is that I just have no idea how much time is left on this break. You know, what the hell is that about? So that's weird. I guess I'm just gonna need to be, you know, vigilant. Um, hmm. I was surprised that it went reading, math, reading, math. I assume it's going to go reading, math, reading, math. Maybe I'll have another math section. I wonder if it's always the same order. I wonder if they scramble them up. I was fully expecting 2 reading sections in a row, though. And honestly, I kind of like the change up. It's nice to not have to do a million reading questions all at once. You focus on a thing for 30 minutes. You get to change it up, focus on something else. I like it. The logic of the verbal section, like the reading type questions, was a lot easier than the LSAT. I would call it on par with the SAT. Yeah. I don't think it's meaningfully more difficult than the SAT in terms of the logic is concerned, but the vocab is harder. Like, way harder. The vocab is, like, harder than the LSAT. Because I don't ever miss LSAT questions because I don't know some key vocab word, you know? Like, ever. I can't remember the last time. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had an experience where on the LSAT I've run into a word and I don't know what it means, and that word is critical to getting the answer right or wrong. You know, it's a common experience for students on the LSAT, and it's a common experience for students on the SAT, but language is like my strength, or so I thought. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm not as good at languaging as I thought. But yeah, so I haven't had that experience on either the SAT or the LSAT ever. I think like not legit, not even once. Um, so the vocab is for sure harder, way harder. For the math, there was like, I mean, I just liked this content more than the SAT content. It's very like, it's like clever. You have to do like clever problem solving shit. And I feel like the SAT like wants to be that way, but it fails to achieve it, and they end up just being like petty. They end up like tricking students on like little technicalities. Whereas I feel like a lot of the questions like the oh, how is this triangle shaped? Like, is this possible? Is that possible? Like the one with the list of numbers, the range is 4. You know, do we have enough information to tell for sure? Is a cool like answer choice. That's happened. I've seen that answer choice like literally once on an SAT question where it's like, for one of the, it's like, oh, like, are these two angles the same? And one of the answers is like, we don't have enough information to know. But this one is like really leaning very heavily on it, and it's cool. You have to like understand the core concepts. It strikes me potentially as being harder to teach. I mean, I don't immediately see that many patterns, although surely there will be. If I took like a bunch more practice tests, like there are for sure going to be patterns. Mm, all right, coming into the next couple sections, I basically need to be more conscious of time. I was pretty fine on time in both of those previous sections, but assuming that I did well on them, I'm going to have the same amount of time to do the same number of harder questions. So I should be more focused on time management. This happened on the digital SAT. My first take of that test too. I think it's just always dangerous. You're taking a new test for the first time. It's hard to get like time, your sense of time right. And on the first SAT, I didn't have enough extra time on either of the sections, reading and writing or the math. Um, on the second module, because I like had a good pace on the first module, and I was like, oh, I can slow down. And I didn't account for the fact that the second module was harder questions. Aside from that, I don't know if there's anything else to note or for me to think actively about. I think it might just be time. Yeah, I think it might just be time. It's go time, baby. All right. I hope this is reading. Go. Reading. Cool. Not adventurous, not eclectic, not judicious, not cynical. Fucking more vocab. He's not skeptical but enlightened intellectual. I think doctrinaire is good. Cynical is maybe a bit too broad. Stories are a haunted genre. Hardly a blah kind of story. The ghost story is almost the paradigm of the form. And blah was undoubtedly one effect Poe had in mind when he wrote about how stories work. Hardly a debased kind of story. These are too positive, so it's hardly a bad kind of story. The ghost story is almost the paradigm of the form. Jesus. Those choices are rough. The playwright's approach is blah in that her works blah the theatrical devices normally used to create drama on stage. The playwright's approach is startling in that her works jettison the theatrical. In that her works jettison the theatrical devices normally used to create drama on stage. Yeah. Celebrated. Yeah. All right. I feel better about that one. They all will depend on each other. I've long anticipated this retrospective of the artist's work, hoping that it would make some kind of cool judgments about him possible. But greater familiarity with his paintings highlights their inherent ambiguity and actually makes one's assessment so blank 2 seems right, but greater familiarity with paintings highlights their inherent ambiguity. So it's like, oh, they're like this and that, and actually makes one's assessment also little like whoop-de-doo, I don't know, like this or that. Settled is I'm not sure which. Wow, this is thorny as hell. Higher energy prices would have many different bad, surprising, fucking vocab word that I don't know. Besides encouraging customers to be more probably sparing in their use of gasoline, they would high energy prices, yeah, would encourage the development of renewable alternative energy sources. So this is like good that are not sustainable, viable at current prices. All right, higher energy would have many good, so not pernicious, not counterintuitive, probably effects. Salubrious, I guess, means good. Besides encouraging customers to be more sparing, less aggressive, not predictable, in the use of gasoline, they would encourage the development of renewable alternative energy sources that aren't viable at the current prices. Are not, yeah. But they pay little attention to the opposite and more treacherous failing. False certainty, refusing to confess their mistakes, and implicitly claiming infallibility. Yeah. Incapable of being wrong. Refusing to confess their mistakes and implicitly claiming infallibility, thereby embarrassing the nation and undermining the Constitution, which established various mechanisms of self-correction on the premise that even the wisest men are sometimes wrong, indeed, precisely when they find it most discomfiting to the benefit of an adaptable process, a remedial process. They think they can do no wrong, and they sometimes need, precisely when they find it like not comfortable, the benefit of a corrective process. Remedial, I think, is right. Yeah. Ooh boy, this is fucking crazy rough. Organization of the past. All right, this should be better. Blended American and African American traditions. Not just jazz, but classical. It wasn't new. He built on their work. Mm, mm-mm. It's not rejected. Ah, a common claim is investigated an alternative outlook. No, there's not an investigation. Most people think this, but it's actually also this. And then we build on that. A historical overview is presented. No. And a particular phenomenon is noted and analyzed. No. The popular belief is challenged and a rival interpretation is presented and reported. No, it's a more modified. Common viewpoint. In addition, he was also this. Yeah. More than one right answer. The author suggests which of the following about most classical composers of the early 1920s. Early 1920s. By 1924, both had composed classical works that incorporated elements of jazz. Most classical composers. A serious musician more experienced than most classical composers. So not necessarily. I think this is a right answer, but it falls to a just because he had more doesn't mean they had less. They made few attempts to introduce innovations at all. No. Is it possible to select one or more? Yeah, okay. Because I don't like any of these. They made few attempts. I like disagree with the logic of this one, to be honest. Yeah. So he made symphonic music. Johnson's own popular songs, yeah. Jazz works. He was a blues and jazz composer. I think it's not spirituals though. He made blues, he made jazz, he made popular songs, he made symphonic music. But this just pulled from borrowings from spirituals. Yeah. Okay. The best clue comes from comets in our solar system. Comets formed in circular orbits were gravitationally flung when they ventured too close to planets. Astronomers suspect that pairs of planets also engage in this slingshot activity, leaving them undisturbed. So pairs and getting too close. If two planets form in close orbits, one will be scattered inward toward its star, the other outward. They will likely then travel close enough to neighboring planets to fuck with their orbits. Planets' formation in close proximity to other planets. Gravitational influence whose original orbits have been disturbed. The gravitational influence of comet now. The comets in our solar system. Original orbits have been disturbed. Yeah, okay. I'm right on time, so maybe a little behind. So yes, yes, no. If the word deflect somewhere, one inward, one outward. They change the shape of each other's orbits and they affect the orbits of any neighboring planets. Yeah. Huh. Oh God. Once White stepped down from a political platform where his daring, like bold speeches, probably florid, provoked baying applause from audiences. He was courteous and considerate even to politicians that he had just slandered in the speech. Slandered. Inveigling, timorous, diffident. All right, we're going to come back to these. We're going to do these quick. Clearly, the government faced a dilemma. It could hardly blow out trials, especially in advance of irrefutable evidence, in the absence, but it would also not welcome in the midst of war the scandal that would arise if trials were avoided. It could hardly dispense with trials, especially in the absence of irrefutable evidence, but it would also not welcome the midst of war the scandal would arise if trials were avoided. So you can't be too stoked about when used to complete the sentence, fit the meaning of the sentence as a whole, and produce completed sentences that are alike in meaning. This one I feel like I could get right. But it also would not welcome the midst of war scandal that would arise if trials were avoided. It could be both of these too, because it's it couldn't be excited about trials. No. The hodgepodge nature of local and federal law enforcement and the changing but often still inadequate regulations. The hodgepodge nature of local and federal law enforcement and the changing but often still inadequate regulations governing the credit industry make identity theft a particularly difficult to enforce crime. Yeah, okay, I think I got that. Uncontrollable and intractable. It's like a hard problem to solve. Sure. Economic competition among nations may lead to new forms of economic protectionism that harken back to the mercantilism of an early age. There are signs that such protectionism is indeed starting to happen. Oh my God. Evanescent, recrudescent, transitory, no. Controversial, no. Evanescent. Okay, we're doing this fast. That was the motto. All right, and we'll come back to them. It can be inferred from the passage that the rules of involved. Okay. The rules and regulations affecting sort of involved. Ah. Responsibility for the work needed to accomplish certain defined tasks. So the rules and regulations are like you can leave, that's fine. You need to pay a fine to set up an independent household. So you can't do that. Responsibility for the work needed, yeah, and you need to cultivate the communal lands while you engage in trade. I'm biased against selecting all three, and I don't know if I should be. The highlighted sentence, which of the following? Yeah. It raises a question that the succeeding sentence will resolve. No. An argument presented in the preceding sentence. Oh, Milton, however, argues that serfdom was perfectly compatible with economic growth because many Russian serfs were able to get around, and there was rules and regulations. Blah blah blah. Support for that argument. Yeah, it provides evidence that helps undermine a view introduced in the first sentence. According to the conventional view, serfdom inhibited economic growth, but it didn't. Yeah, okay, so that's right. Strength of question. Slow moving streams. Just because these two things happen doesn't mean it's the cause. So we need to strengthen the causal connection between the increased flow, the sediments, and the salamander's disappearance. And we need to strengthen that. Since 1980, the suburban population of New York has grown. Dusky salamanders have disappeared in the past 10 years from some suburban areas that were originally developed more than a century ago and have not experienced significant development for decades. No. No, that weakens. The two-line salamander, a species that lives in both slow and swift-moving waters, continues to thrive in streams in New York, from which dusky salamanders have disappeared. That's pretty good. This other one is okay. So, suburban development contributes significantly to pollution of local streams. Lawn fillers are poison to most. Small, increased flow. So no, this is an alternate cause. Much of the suburban development in New York State has been occurring in areas that never provided prime habitat for dusky salamander. This weakens as well. Okay, I got it. I got to trust that and spend more time elsewhere. The author of the passage attributes the British 19 and 20, 8 minutes. Okay, I'm okay. The author of the passage attributes the influence of British periodicals in shaping public opinion in the 19th century, in part to, so why were British periodicals so good at shaping public opinion? All right. While the influence of British magazines in shaping public opinion predates the 19th century, uh, mass distribution between opera. Yeah, it's impossible. Yeah. The role of magazines as arbiters. Uh, it's an example of the, it's an example of the taste-making power of the periodicals. Yeah. Contrast the kinds of entertainment. Make a point about how spectators taste. No. Explain how magazines chose which kind of no. Identify factors that help make them fashionable. No. Yeah, no. It's to illustrate a point about the ability of magazines to sway public opinion. Yeah, no, that's right. All right, so I ended that with a bunch of extra time. So now I go back and I do. Let's toil over these 15 and 16, and then 11 and 12. Let's look at 11 and 12. Okay. Ugh, I'll come back to that. Once White stepped down, so slandered, defamatory's got to be right. Once he stepped down on the platform, he was an asshole. Inveigling, God, never before in my life have I encountered so many vocab words that I don't know. Defamatory and calumnious. Fucking sure. Uh, Economic competition among nations may lead to new forms of economic protectionism that harken back to the mercantilism of an earlier age. There are signs today that such protectionism is indeed, dude, evanescent, like the band Evanescence. I always like thought that meant like bubbly, but I don't know. I've never known what that word means. Does it mean revitalization? I don't think so. So resurgence is right. It's coming back. Transitory, controversial is wrong. Inimical is like no. That's like anti. You said like this is another word I don't know that well, but it's like something is inimical to my goals to blah blah blah. So it's recrudescent, recrudescent. I'm like a little not stoked about that. I don't think it's that important for. I guess grad students really have to navel gaze really hard, so it's important to know words that no one uses. Consider each of the choices separately and select all that apply. Yeah, no, I feel okay about this. Burdensome taxes in cash, in labor, and in kind through restrictions on mobility. Oh, shit. According to the conventional landlords, serfdom in the 19th century inhibited economic growth. In this view, Russian peasants' status as serfs kept them poor through burdensome taxes in cash and labor and in kind, through restrictions on mobility, and through various forms of coercion. Argues that serfdom was perfectly compatible because many Russian serfs would get around landlords' rules and regulations. I mean, shit. Yeah, restrictions on mobility. The question is, do they come from landlords? But I think the answer is yes. I don't know where else the rules and regulations would come from. Limited, yeah. Responsibility for the work needed to accomplish. You need to you need to cultivate the communal lands. Yeah. So I'm glad I came back and changed that. I'm gonna unmark that. Oh God. I kind of like cynical maybe. I don't know what doctrinaire means. Far from viewing him as a skeptical but enlightened intellectual, historians have portrayed him as like a yeah. I'll call that cynical. Oh my God. Stories are a haunted genre. Spooky. Hardly. The ghost story is almost a paradigm of the form. And spookiness. was undoubtedly one effect that Poe had in mind when he wrote about how stories work. It's not meticulous. It's not normative. Normative and pessimism? A haunted genre. Hardly. It doesn't have shitty values. It inspires curiosity. Or it's not meant to be a lesson and it's supposed to be pessimistic. And all stories are that way? I don't think so. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like take stories more seriously, I suppose. I feel like okay with that, maybe. I hope I get to see the answers. Oh boy. I don't know what modish means. More cynical? No. Yeah, no, I think that's okay too. Alright, it's math time. Alright, I can get on board with this. Let's do it. 35 minutes of math, 20 questions. Okay. Alright. List X. In store A, OG was $50 less than list. And then the current is 10% less than OG. All right, in store B, this is doable. The original selling price of the tool is 10% less than the list price. And the current selling price is 50 less than the original selling price. Less than the original selling price. Yes, this is 0.9x minus 50, and this is 0.9x minus less than 50. Smaller number. So this A is bigger. Okie dokes. Man, this is hard. Although I suppose it doesn't necessarily get harder. Oh my god. 36. Okay, so there's 400 divided by 11. It can't be more than... So it's like 36.36. There's 36 11s. There's 36 11s in there. Oh shit, bro. There's one 11 that are multiples of 11. It starts at 99. The first one between 1 and 500 is the first one between 1 and 500 is 1 0 10 times 11 is 110. So it goes 110. What's 11 times 36? 11 times 36 is 396 plus 110. That's 506. Yeah, shit. Okay, wait. So, okay, wait. 11 times 36. 396 So there's this one that's 1, and then it's blah, 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 blah. 36 of them. So we're kind of off by 1 here. And then you get to 506. So we can't do that. So it's 35 of them. This one, and then 35 more. It's 36. Yeah, that one's rough too. Oh boy. These are like big brain shit. Okay. One of them's negative, one of them's positive. So one of them's negative, one of them's positive. The absolute value of a negative plus a positive, or the absolute value of a negative plus the absolute value of a positive. So these are going to counteract each other, and this number is going to be kind of a smaller number. It just has to kind of be a smaller number, whereas these are going to build on each other. B is greater. I mean, this is kind of YOLO status. All right, C and D are positive integers. Oh, right. Okay, let's say it's 1 and 2. So that's 4 and 7. No, 4 and 5. So this is bigger than that. What if it's 2 and 1? 5 and 4. This is less than that. Shit, bro. This is less than 2. So it's bigger. This is bigger. This is less. C and D are both positive integers. You can't tell. Okay. I think some of these, well, whatever, should be able to do. Like, when you're good at it, I bet you don't have to, like, figure it out by yourself. I bet, like, these seem to have, like, I don't know, tricks to them for sure. In the xy coordinate plane, it's an equilateral triangle. R and T, oh, good. That's fine. Okay. Okay. 0, comma 2. Let's 0, comma 2 and 1, comma 0. 1, comma 0, comma 0, comma 2. It's the y-axis. We just need to figure out what the distance here is. This is 2. This is 1. This is, God, 2 root 3. Is that right? No. Okay, what's the distance here? It's 1, comma 0, 0, comma 2. Okay. It's going, a squared is 1 plus b squared 4 equals c squared. It's an equilateral triangle, R and T of these coordinates. We're going these 2 points over 1 up to 1, 4, 5 squared root 5 It's root 5, root 5, root 5, 3 root 5. All right. Tiny bit ahead, you know, theoretically. Length of the rectangle B is 10% less than the length of the rectangle A. Okay. So we got B, here's A, here's L, here's 0.9 L. The width of rectangle B is 10% greater than the width of rectangle A. So we've got W, and then we've got 1.1 W. Which one's bigger? It depends. It depends which one's. If A is wider than it is long, then the increase is going to be bigger than the decrease. But if it's longer than it is wide, yeah. Okay. Quantity. Okay. Well, C is negative and D is positive. 1 over C to the 10th. C is some kind of negative number, so it's going to not matter, and this is going to be some kind of positive. This is going to be some kind of positive number. This is a positive number. 1 over D to the 5th, D being some positive number, could be a positive number, it could be a negative number. No, that's not true. D is positive, so it's for sure a positive number. They're both positive numbers. But D could be a very big positive number, you can't tell. Yeah, C is for sure positive. D is for sure positive. And then their amounts could vary. Okay? Yeah, I bet I miss a fair number of these questions. Like I don't know what I don't know, you know? I'm probably gonna miss them for just I don't know, I'm probably just gonna be thinking things wrong. It's interesting. It's gonna be hard to learn. The prices of 31 used cars sold last month are summarized in the table. Which of the following amounts could be the median? All such amounts. Right, so we're gonna go like this. So it goes 7, 10, 8, 6. I like to do this. So this 6 is gone, and then there's 1 here. And then this 1 is gone, and then there's 7 here. And then the 7 is gone, and then there's 3 here. So the median is between 5,000 to 7,499, which is this, this, and that. Yeah, I think that's right. So we canceled out those 6, and then we canceled out 1 from there. And then we canceled out these 7, and we're right smack dab in the middle of this category, and it's somewhere in there. 5,000 to 7,499. Yeah, sweet. Oh shit, bro. It's got to be an even integer. 1 minus 1 minus 1. That's negative 1. You know, so it's not the first one. 1, ooh. Minus 4 plus 6. 1 minus 4. It's negative 3 plus 6 is positive 3. So also not that. 1 minus 4 plus 6. Negative 3 plus 6, positive 3. All right, so it's not that one either. 1 minus 5 plus 1 minus 5 plus 5 is also not right. So what is it then? Yeah, 1 plus 3. Yeah, this is squared? Huh. An odd number times an odd number is always odd. 3, 3, 3, 5, 3, 7. Sure. And so squared 49, this is going to be odd plus odd, that's even, plus another even is going to be even. So I think it's this one. Yeah. Yikes. I'm really like flying by the seat of my pants in this whole thing. A rectangular game board is composed of identical squares arranged in a rectangular array of r rows and r plus 1 columns. Yeah, fuck. Okay. R rows, r plus 1 columns. The rows, r rows are numbers from 1 through r. 1 through r plus 1. If r is bigger than 10, which of the following represents the number of squares on the board? That what? That are neither in the 4th row nor in the 7th column. Wow. So it's just 1 column, 1 row, though. So it's r squared plus r. So it's r times r plus 1. Right. R times r plus 1. That's r squared plus r. And then we've got one of the rows is going to have r in them. So we're going to take that out, minus r. And then one of the columns is going to have r plus 1. So we're going to take that shit out too. So we're going to go minus r, and then we're going to go minus r plus 1, which is to say minus r minus 1. But then we need to think about the fact that these two intersect with each other. And so we need to add 1 back in. All right, so screw these, r squared minus r. Whew, I feel good about that. The sun is approximately r of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, r. Yeah. R of them, r minus r plus 1 of them. And then there's one that we don't want to count. Yeah, okay, I think that's fine. The sun is approximately that far from the planet Saturn, and light from the sun travels at approximately that minutes does it take for light to travel. Okay, so 1400 so 30 this number kilometers per second. That many kilometers per second. We want kilometers per minute. There's 60 seconds. No shit. In 1 minute. So it's 300,000 times 60. So it's 18 million. So 1400 million and 18 million. So 1400 million kilometers times 18 million kilometers in 1 minute. Cancel out these millions. 1400 over 18 is like 78-ish, so it's like 80. Okay? Tiny bit, basically on time. Oh, Christ. You know, 1 over 4, 1 over 4 is way too big. 1 over 2 to the 10. Can you raise things to a power here? No? 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1 over 1024. That seems right. 1 over 1024, 0.001, 0.00. Yeah, great. Uh-huh. Yeah, sure. Oh, God. Right. 9 sides. So 3 is 180 with all of them being 60. 4 is 360 with all of them being 90. 5 is 540 with all of them being, is it going to be 120? 120 times 5. One, two, three, 4, 5. One, two, three, 4, 5. 60, 60, 60. Oh no, so 540 divided by 5, 108. These are all 108. So that's okay. So 9-sided polygon, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm just going to do this. 540, 7, 20, 10. I'm glad I know skateboarding. 10, 20, 12, 1260, I think. Plus 180. Yeah, 1260. And this is a 1400 because of the cool trick. No? It's not a 1400? Oh, this is a 10. Yeah, 1080. Come on, Mike. Here we go. Right? Like 1080. Let's go plus 360. It's a 1440. Yeah, okay, right. Okay, so this is 1440. And there's 9 of them, so we're going to divide this by 9. So each of them is 160 degrees. And so this is 160 and this is 20, because they need to add up to a straight line, which is 180 degrees. Okay. Okay. Oh, I see. 1988, 1991, less in 91. How many of the 6 corporate sectors listed each contributed more than $60 million in the arts in both 1988 and 1991? Well, 63 million. So we're going to have 60 million is what percentage of 63 million? Well, no, 60 out of 630. 6 over 63. So it's needs to be like 9.5%. We need to be greater than 9.5% for 1988. And then in 1991, it needs to be 60 million out of the 520 million, which again, 6 over 52. 6 over 52. That needs to be greater than like 11.5%. So we need 1991. So we need, so real estate, no. Services, yes. 1. 2. No. No. 20 and 18, 3 of them. Maybe mark that. I mean, you know, I think I did the math right. Hey, oh, there's 3 more. From there's 2 more. From which corporate sector decreased its support for the arts by the greatest dollar amount? 1988, 1991. So the ones that could have been that could have decreased are manufacturing, retail, wholesale is very unlikely. Others also unlikely. So it's really between manufacturing and retail. 31% of 630 million. So we've got 630 times 0.31. So it went from 195 to 20% of 520. So it's 520 times 0.2. 195 to 104. 195 minus 104 is 91. So this is minus, that went down by 91 million. In retail, it was 19%, 630 times 0.19. It went from 119. It dropped 11%. Oh, and this also dropped 11%, so it's going to be smaller. I don't know why I'm going to, I should stop, but I'm just so, times 0.08, 41.6. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm supposed to not do this. Minus 41.6, 78. Yeah, I knew that was going to be smaller. So manufacturing. They drop it the same amount, but it's bigger. Decrease historically arts. Yeah, okay. The two corporate sectors that increase their support for the arts, the two that did it, real estate and services, are the two that increased it, made a total contribution of approximately how many $1 million? So in 1991, how much did they give? Well, in 1991, it was $520 million. Ah, shit. Yeah, okay. It was 5%. Oh, no. In 1991, approximately how many $1 million? 26% of 520. So 135.2. And then services, the two corporate sectors that increased their support for the arts. Boom, 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 22% of 52. I could have times 0.22. I could have added the percents. 114.4. We need to add those up. I'm not going to do that. Plus 135.2. 250-ish. Good. Okay. So I have 4 more questions in 7.5 minutes. I'm still maybe a little behind. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 110. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 things. Yeah, so call this is R. I'm going to take R plus the 4 other things plus 110. We need to divide that by 6 because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, and that needs to be 100. And so it needs to be 600 R plus the 4 things plus 110. So R plus the 4 things needs to be 490. So the 4 things need to be 490 minus R. Is that useful? So each thing needs to be about 490 divided by 4. 490 divided by 4. So it needs to be like 122.5 minus R over 4. So call it like R over 4 plus the like average thing needs to be 122.5. So 0 doesn't work. Yeah, and okay, and so that needs to be less than 110. 122.5. 12.5 is the difference between that R over 4. Okay, so now we're gonna just do guess and check type stuff. Let's see, if R is 20, then this is 470. Yeah, okay. So this is 470. And the idea is that 470 over 4, that doesn't work. So it needs to be, how about 450 over 4? That also doesn't work. How about 430 over 4? That could work. Uh-oh, I'm running out of time. Car manufacturer produced a car at a cost of D and sold it to a dealer at a price 20% higher than production cost. 1.2 D. One point two times 1.15. 1.2 times 1.15. 1.38. Good. 2 more. The function f is defined for all numbers by that. If t is such a number, f of 2t, f of x equals x squared plus x, f of 2t equals 30, which the following could be t. Okay, so t equals, f of 2t equals 2t squared plus 2t equals 4t squared plus, oh no, I'm getting lag, plus 2t. That's 30. This is lagging. Christ, oh no. 15 15 equals 2t squared plus t. Oh, come on, why am I lagging now? Okay. Both of the numbers. Come on. This lag, dude. 2 t squared plus t minus 15. T God squared plus 1/2 t minus 15. No, minus 7.5. 15 over 2. So is it 5 and 3 over 2? Oh, shit. Okay, ran out of time. Okay. Okay. That was hard. Yeah. I'm going to report my score. Also, report or cancel your score. If you choose to report your score, it will become part of your cumulative record. If you choose to cancel the score, it won't be reported. Well, report my score. Yeah, no. Report my score. It's fine. 166, 164. Okay, come on. What's that? I don't know if these are good or bad. 166 plus 164. So this is verb. This is math. Call it quant. Is it come on, this is more math. Oh, we got 12, 13. It's a 330. You know, I don't know, is 330 good or bad or like what? View and down your score report and other scoring information, sure. I missed, oh, yeah, I missed 3 on these, each of these. No, is that? Yeah, I missed 3 on each of the 2 verbals. I aced the first math and I got 3 wrong in the second math. Yeah. No, I missed 3 and I got an additional 1 wrong. Interesting. Okay. Can I download this? Oh, yes. Great. Cool. And I want to review my test. And I don't know, is a 330 good or bad or like what? You know, what are the GRE percentile, you know, are they like, yeah, what's a good GRE score, you know? I don't know. What's a good GRE score? Oh, 340 is the max, and I got 330. That's not terrible. Is only good, we'll dive a bit deeper, blah, blah, blah. Placing in the top 20% could be. Yeah, let's see at percentiles. GRE score, I guess we skip to the end. No, what? 130? Oh, I see. 166. Oh, I see. So I got a 166 and the verbal 164. So 97, yeah. 97, 164, 83. Okay, so like not, I mean, not a superlative score, not like a good score. And also 330 is like a full 10 points less good than a 340. Like you can get like a 331 or a 332 or whatever. So it's like 10 points off of a 330. Or sorry, of a 340. Yeah. Not bad for a first try. I got stumped on the math for sure. But that was a pretty fun test. I'll be curious as I do my review, like of specific questions, kind of about the logic. Is there going to be one that I'm going to get salty about? Yeah, maybe let's look at the ones that I missed from. Um, Shut up. The ones that I missed. I'm reviewing my test, right? Oh, I see. Here we go. I missed number 4. What's that? Oh, I missed it because what's the answer? Uh, yeah, I mean, okay, okay. An arcane. Yeah, sure. That's fine. Sure. Laconic. Okay. Laconic. What does laconic mean? Using very few words. What does garuglier mean? Garrulous. Garrulous. Talking a lot. Okay, so it's taciturn, and laconic. All right. Vocab. I guess I shouldn't be that dismissive. It's like, oh, I need to learn these specific vocab words. Um, yeah, I shouldn't dismiss that. Uh, Jesus Christ. Mendacity and pre-verification. Mendacity is lying. Pre-verification. So it's not even pre-verification. It's not even just fucking lying. Yeah, well, so uh, it's not even like it's just like a direct synonym, literally a direct synonyms. Like avarice, avarice isn't a direct synonym. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Oh, I'm not gonna be. Oh, right, this is the one I aced. Oh, that's great. I'm happy with that. And verbal reasoning. I missed questions 1 and 2. Yeah, okay. I had thought that for a little while. I just don't know what doc. I feel like I'm gonna end up doing this a lot. Googling what words. Imposing a doctrine. Yeah, that's what I thought it meant. Yeah, okay. So I missed that one. Goosebumps. I am very confused about that. That's one I want to think about more, like later. That is baffling to me. I don't understand that in the slightest. And 13. I mean, that's better than I thought. Oh, what is it? These two? That's stupid. But also would not welcome in the midst of war a scandal that would rise of trials. Oh, you couldn't. Oh shit! If trials were avoided, you couldn't have trial. You couldn't have. Oh, that okay. That's not stupid. I'm stupid. You could hardly have trials, especially when you don't have evidence. But you also wouldn't be happy if you didn't have trials. All right, that is fully on me. That's one that I missed, not for vocab reasons, but for real shit reasons. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Quant. I missed questions 6. Yeah, so I missed 1, 2, 3. I understand I was going to miss that. So I missed 6 and 13 for like content reasons. Oh, what? Is this because lengths are always... Is this because lengths are always longer than widths? GRE length always longer. I mean, I suppose that's true, but isn't it? Oh, by convention in maths, the longer line is referred to as length and the shorter one is width. Maybe that's a fact. Which, today I learned, right? This is that's the kind of lesson that I'm like constantly telling my students. Like, you get burned by that, and you get burned by that once, and you shouldn't feel bad about getting burned by that the first time. You should feel bad about getting burned by that the second time. The next time I see a GRA question, it's like, oh, you got to remember that lengths are longer than widths. Yeah, this is the other one that I missed for like real shit reasons. I wish they had explanations. What? What's the correct answer? 40? This is 140? 1440? Hold on. 180, 360, 540, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 120, 1080, 1260, 1440, 1440, 1440 divided by 9. Am I just stupid? 1440 divided by 9 is 160. Huh. A regular nine-sided polygon, interior angles. Why are they 140 each? I'm going to divide these into triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's like what? 180 times 180 times 9 is 1620. Oh, what? 180 times. Oh, well. What? My life is very confusing right now. This is 360, is it not? And then 5 is 540. 6 is uh so, yeah. 6 is 720. 7 is I'm just gonna be, am I just gonna be stupid? So I skipped the 900. Although, isn't that the wrong way? So shouldn't there be, oh yes, I see. It should be, oh, I shouldn't have erased that. I'm gonna put this here. How could Tony Hawk would be so disappointed in me. This should be 900. Oh, bro. This should be 1080. This should be 1260, and that's how you get the right answer. Oh man. Yeah, so that's another like that's just an actual error, careless. I wouldn't even call it. Yeah, I guess I would call it a careless error, or potentially a content error. They care a lot about angles and whatnot. And let's just take a peek at this last question and see if it was an easy one. Yeah, I ought to have been able to get this one. I have to sort of go soon, so I'm not going to go fully into this, but yeah. Okay, cool. Well, overall, kind of a fun experience. And yeah, let's see. Again, final results were verbal. What are we doing? Where am I? Verbal? 166 verbal, 164 quant. Maybe that's good. Maybe it's bad. I don't know. Okay, later, friends.